You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for joining us this Tuesday. I'm Manga, and here's a look at some of our news headlines this morning. It is looking more and more likely that our government is headed for a shutdown tonight. Congressional leaders and President Trump failed to reach a deal after meeting at the White House yesterday. A shutdown could lead to more mass layoffs and furloughs of federal workers.
We expect at some point that the Senate will try to hold another round of votes on a government funding bill. They tried to do that about a week ago, and those efforts failed. They put up just a clean, straight extension of government funding for the next 7 weeks. That was voted down, as was a Democratic countermeasure that included some of these issues that Democrats want addressed around the issue of health care. That, too, failed.
If there is a shutdown, some essential services would continue, like Social Security benefits and mail delivery, but national parks and museums would close. If you are thinking of buying an electric car, today is the last day to cash in on that federal tax credit. That $7,500 rebate expires at midnight. Former President Biden passed the incentive under the Inflation Reduction Act, but President Trump's tax and spending bill is putting an end to that. Nasty crash on 880 near Union City this morning. Our chopper captured the aftermath. A car and a big rig colliding near Alvarado Niles Road just before 7 a.m. You can see the extent of the damage there to the vehicles and the wall. No word yet on injuries. A house caught fire in San Jose overnight. This is at 2nd and Keys Street. You can see some melting right there on the roof. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. All right, let's get another check on our first alert forecast. Parts of the Bay Area could see a bit more rain tonight. Here's meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's another cool, cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area with on and off showers in the forecast into the evening hours today. At the same time, this cold front sweeps in from the north to the south, and it's going to be bringing in some cool, cloudy conditions and rainy skies at times as well. Daytime highs sitting below average in the 60s today in Fremont, 70s off into the East Bay near Concord. I mean, that puts us about 10 degrees below average today in Concord, about 2 degrees below average in places like the foothills near Morgan Hill and Los Gatos. I want to show you the rain, though. As we head into the afternoon hours today, we're for the most part catching a little bit of a break, misty conditions on and off, but the bulk of these showers, the next cold front that sweeps through, comes in later tonight, early tomorrow morning. And at the same time, it wrings out most of its moisture over the North Bay. So our rainfall totals are going to be impressive in certain microclimates. We'll catch a break in others. Watch what happens as we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow. More rain sweeping in, this time from the south coast, places closer to Half Moon Bay, all the way over into Pacifica for that matter, gearing up for some heavy showers into the afternoon hours on Wednesday before we clear up into Thursday and Friday right around the corner. So from now until Thursday, we can see close to around 1/4 inch of rain in places like Mountain View and Fremont, all the way over into San Francisco as well. We're not done with this rain just yet, so keep the umbrella nearby. You're going to want it into the afternoon hours today and into the afternoon hours tomorrow. By Thursday, it looks a lot different, though. So let's take a quick look at what we can expect from now into Thursday, because daytime highs are still below average as we head into the rest of this week. We'll slowly start to warm up as we head into Friday and Saturday, back into the 80s with sunnier skies as we dive into this weekend, and a nice break from the rain, too. But hey, the rain has been well welcomed. As we head into the afternoon hours today, you're going to want to hold on tight to that umbrella, even along the bay. We'll have more on those rainfall totals coming up in just a bit. For now, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. More now on the looming government shutdown. And if it does happen at midnight tonight, the impact is going to be felt here in the Bay Area. Veronica Macias has details from San Francisco.
The last government shutdown considered to be the longest, going past 30 days, and National Park Service employees say it was disastrous for the country's national parks. So they're asking for places like Alcatraz to be closed if there is a national shutdown. Leaders with the Coalition to Protect America's National Parks say the last time there was a shutdown and parks were left open and unprotected, it was disastrous because they saw illegal camping, trash being left behind, with restrooms closed. There was even human waste in places there shouldn't be. But with the government shutdown, not everything could be disastrous for some time. There are things that fall under mandatory programs. Most Californians shouldn't worry about a federal shutdown impacting their Social Security benefits or their health care access. About 6.5 million Californians receive benefits through Social Security Administration, and those checks are expected to continue going out to people. And you'll be able to fly and take trains during a government shutdown, but also expect some delays. Members of the military, federal law enforcement, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, they would have to continue to work, but it would be without pay. Some experts also worrying about a government closure hurting the economy and postponing the release of important economic reports. It is estimated that the country would lose an estimated $7 billion per week during a government shutdown, $1 billion coming from tourism alone.
Well, Fleet Week is just days away in San Francisco, and if there is a government shutdown, U.S. Navy ships and military planes would be grounded. That means no military displays. But Fleet Week organizers say the show will go on. International ships and the Canadian snowbirds are still confirmed to perform. Economists estimate that a shutdown could cost the U.S. economy about $7 billion a week. Stay with us for updates on that potential shutdown on kpix.com and streaming on the free CBS News app. There has been a record-setting rush to buy electric vehicles this year before the federal tax credit expires tonight. State data shows through the first half of 2025, zero-emission vehicles made up more than 22% of all car sales here in California. That includes fully electric and plug-in hybrids. And the race to buy electric hit a high this week. Buyers have flooded dealerships hoping to cash in before the $7,500 rebate expires at midnight.
When they started cutting down, I said, oh, here's my time frame. I'm going to get it before the end of September.
Now, the bump in EV sales was enough to boost the entire auto market. According to auto website Edmunds, this quarter will likely be one of the strongest since before the pandemic in 2020. Now, today is also the last day EV owners can drive alone in the carpool lane. That clean air sticker perk ends tomorrow, along with toll discounts. But the CHP is not going to start ticketing right away. There is a 60-day grace period before they start issuing tickets. This morning, President Trump addressed a rare gathering of top military leaders at the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico, Virginia. Hundreds of generals and admirals were summoned from around the world to meet with him and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth without initially being told why. Hegseth promoted the new name, the Department of War, and announced a new directive that all combat positions, quote, return to the highest male standards. President Trump told leaders of the armed services that defending the homeland should be the military's first priority, which includes deploying troops and the National Guard in U.S. cities, especially those run by Democrats.
Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. They're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within.
Trump says his administration is committing $1 trillion in 2026 for the military. Neither Trump nor Hegseth addressed the looming government shutdown, but if it happens, active troops would be required to report for duty while their pay is delayed. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, nonstick cookware could be banned over potentially toxic chemicals. Details of the bill on Governor Newsom's desk and how some Bay Area chefs are cooking up a fight.
I feel like chefs should have the choice to use the tools they want in their kitchen, not be told what tools we need to use.
Plus, the housing market appears to be on the rebound, but not everywhere. The Bay Area zip codes where prices are dropping and homes aren't selling.
It's heavily condos in that area. Condos are really hard to sell, and so that is kind of more showing that kind of coolness in those areas.
Well, it's another cool, cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area with more on and off showers in the forecast into the evening hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow. At the same time, as these storm systems move in from the north to the south, it's actually just a cold front. So that's the reason why we're gearing up for daytime highs below average once again. Low 70s today and tomorrow before we jump into the 80s in our inland spots by this weekend. At the same time, we're holding on tight to those low 70s in places like the Bay, Oakland, San Francisco. Day by day, we're dealing with cloudy skies in the morning, clearing up into the afternoons each day.
A bill on Governor Newsom's desk could ban some kitchen tools. The goal is to try to get rid of so-called forever chemicals, including Teflon used in nonstick pots and pans. Studies have shown they can cause adverse health effects like cancer or reproductive issues. But the potential ban on nonstick cookware has some in the restaurant industry up in arms, with celebrity chefs and Hollywood stars speaking out. Brad Hamilton has more on the kitchen debate that is heating up.
For Chef Brian Hoagland, the kitchen is more than just a workplace. It's the space where he feels most at home. But now, he worries that some of the tools that he's relied on for years could be taken away.
Part of my opinion is I feel like chefs should have the choice to use the tools they want in their kitchen, not be told what tools we need to use.
And that fear stems from a law now sitting on Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. Senate Bill 682 would ban the sale of nonstick cookware and other kitchen products made with a group of chemicals called PFAS, commonly referred to as the forever chemical. Arlene Bloom, an environmental health scientist at UC Berkeley, has spent years tracking their impact.
These chemicals never break down, ever, and all the ones that have been studied are known to be harmful. So you only want to use a chemical like that if there's no substitute.
The author of the bill, State Senator Ben Allen of LA County, says the initial legislation aimed to eliminate any product made with PFAS. But to get a deal done, they started with several categories that have been phased out elsewhere, including nonstick cookware.
Every single product that we're looking to phase out in our bill has already been successfully phased out in at least one other state in the country, in many cases, many other states.
The bill is drawing high-profile supporters, including actor Mark Ruffalo, who played a lawyer facing off against a PFAS manufacturer in the film Dark Waters. And then there are against critics, like celebrity chefs Rachel Ray and Thomas Keller, who argue that the ban goes too far. Steve Burns, the president of the Cookware Alliance, believes the industry he represents has been unfairly targeted, and he also pushes back on the claim that nonstick is proven to be unsafe.
Completely safe, and as a matter of fact, the United States Food and Drug Administration has specifically authorized fluoropolymers to be used in the preparation of food.
So what's in a pan has turned into a bigger fight. On one side, health and safety. On the other, cost and convenience. But for chefs like Brian, the debate feels like it's happening far away, but the impact could land right here in his kitchen.
We'll abide by the laws, of course. We'll maneuver which direction we need to make things work around here. That's what we do, you know.
Oh, there's no need to throw out your nonstick pans. This bill is targeting the production of the cookware itself with a compliance deadline that wouldn't take effect until around 2030. Similar law went into effect in Minnesota at the start of the year. It's called Amara's Law. That ban includes cookware, cosmetics, and cleaning products. In August, a judge tossed out a lawsuit that claimed the ban discriminates against out-of-state commerce. Meantime, the governor has signed a landmark bill creating safety measures for AI. It's known as the Transparency in Frontier Artificial Intelligence Act. That legislation requires that AI developers disclose their security protocols and report any major safety events. It also includes whistleblower protections. In a statement, the governor said California has proven that we can establish regulations to protect our communities while also ensuring that the growing AI industry continues to thrive. This legislation strikes that balance. The housing market seems to be rebounding. A new report from the National Association of Realtors shows a 4% increase in home sales in August compared to the month before. Those realtors say that lower mortgage rates may have contributed to higher home sales. But one zip code in Oakland is trending in the opposite direction. Homeowners in this area are seeing the values of their homes decrease. Data from Zillow shows it's down 30% since 2020. Our Kara St. Cyr talks to one homeowner who's having a tough time offloading his property.
William Louis Graybill's two-bedroom condo in Oakland was a dream buy.
A little space, a little kitchen.
But selling it has been much more difficult.
I've known that it was kind of a unique space and that I needed to wait for the right person to come along. A workshop makes up more than half the square footage.
The loft space has been on the market since the spring. Williams is offering a living space and a workshop across from the bedroom. But so far, it's been hard getting buyers, even after he shaved $45,000 off the asking price.
I could not have guessed that it would be the duration that it's
been so far.
But Williams' space may not be the problem.
Janet, where are the maps?
Adam Newsom, a realtor at Red Oak, says many sellers in Oakland are facing a stale market, particularly near Williams zip code 94612.
So anywhere down in downtown Oakland area,
where, according to Zillow, values are down 30% since the start of the decade. Experts say the area suffers from a reputation of crime and empty storefronts, and whether warranted or not, has impacted the market, along with several other factors.
it's heavily condos in that area. Condos are really hard to sell, and so that is kind of more showing that kind of coolness in those areas.
But higher insurance and interest rates also play a role. The average interest rate for a 30-year mortgage recently rose to 6.3% after a month-long decline.
Sure, people kind of got used to the high interest rates.
Adam says it's unclear when the market will shift.
It's not a whole lot in here. It's just a little space to come and sit down in between living your life.
But William just hopes a breakthrough is around the corner.
Now, according to Zillow, the average home value for properties in that zip code is about $558,000. That is down 11% from just last year. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area. It all started with handshakes and hugs after the 49er game against the Jaguars. Why things then got heated between two of the team's coaches.
You take a look at our daytime highs here, 69 degrees in Napa, 70 into San Francisco. Our North Bay inland spots are cooler than places like San Francisco when it comes to those average versus below average conditions. Santa Rosa, 11 degrees below average today. San Francisco, pretty much right where we should be, just a degree below where we should be this afternoon, sitting in the 70s. We warm all the way up into the mid 70s today in Redwood City, putting us a degree above average there. But as I turn on that radar and just the futurecast one more time, actually, you'll see these misty conditions will kind of pop up in all of our microclimates before the bulk of it sweeps through into the overnight hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow. So let's start off with where we're at right now, because you saw that live look down in San Jose, clear as can be. That's not necessarily the case everywhere throughout the Bay, though. You take a look at the Richmond Bridge all the way up into Napa and Vallejo. Light showers are still kind of trickling throughout the Bay right now. Very light in the grand scheme of things, because it actually will kick up more as we head into the evening hours tonight. You see just off to the side of your screen that cold front pushing its way from the north to the south. This is going to bring us close to around a quarter of an inch of rain in certain pockets of the Bay Area from now into Thursday's forecast. Wednesday, getting heavier showers, expecting heavier showers pushing in from offshore as we head into our afternoon forecast tomorrow. That's before we clear up into Thursday. So from now until Thursday, we can see close to around a quarter of an inch of rain in the South Bay, about a tenth of an inch all the way up into the North Bay. Back to you.
Well, the 49ers have a short week before playing against the Rams in Los Angeles on Thursday. And as Vern Glenn reports, once again, there is a question over the quarterback.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
Brock Purdy was dealing with toe soreness again, this time after Sunday's loss to Jacksonville. And his status for Thursday's game at the Rams is up in the air. Purdy returned against the Jags after missing the previous two games with the injured toe. And after the final whistle on Sunday, Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen refused to shake the hand of San Francisco defensive coordinator Robert Saleh after Saleh said last week Jacksonville had a legal sign-stealing system. Then things got heated between the two coaches.
Don't think you should be that sensitive about it, but it is what it is. We don't totally care if coaches are pissed off. I mean, that has no effect on a game. So I think Saul was paying him a big compliment what they're good at doing. It's not illegal.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
And you can tune in tomorrow for our weekly 49ers Experience show with Vern and Matt Lively. It airs at 7:30 on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Well, the Super Bowl at Levi Stadium is still months away, but we do know who is going to perform at halftime. Bad Bunny, one of the world's most streamed artists, and he's won 3 Grammys, 12 Latin Grammys. The Puerto Rican superstar drew more than 500,000 fans during his historic residency on the island. And the halftime announcement exploded on social media with top figures in sports, music, and politics all weighing in. Our Amanda Harry talked to some Puerto Ricans living here in the Bay Area about about what it means to see Bad Bunny represent their culture on one of the biggest stages.
Involuntary swelling of the chest, just so much pride and joy, honestly.
That was Pablo Eduardo Paredes' reaction when he heard Bad Bunny would be performing the Super Bowl halftime show right here at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara.
But he is a brown man right now. He speaks for a Latin American experience of invisibility, of marginalization, of deportations.
Something Paredes knows well. He's Puerto Rican and spent part of his life living on the island. He's currently a performance studies PhD candidate at UC Berkeley studying music, like Bad Bunny's. He says he's also experienced stereotyping and racism, and is seeing that in some of the reactions to Bad Bunny's announcement.
It's interesting because when he was on the cover of Calvin Klein in his underwear, they had no problem with Bad Bunny, right? When he was starring in Narcos, there was no problem with Bad Bunny. So it's okay if we stay in the lane of the stereotype. If we're the Latin lover or the gangbanger, don't bat an eye. But now an artist is being taken seriously on one of the most important stages that the United States offers on a yearly basis. And that's where it's rubbing people the wrong way.
But naysayers don't dampen the joy of those who need the representation.
I was ecstatic, you know. I was on my phone just scrolling through social media and I saw the announcement and man, I was really hyped, you know.
Edgar Jaden Vaya is just 16 years old, but knows the weight of this performance.
It's such a big moment more than anything, you know, to have somebody of that magnitude just take the stage and represent us, yeah.
His grandmother, Maria Acevedo Campbell, is president of the Puerto Rican Civic Club. She says while she doesn't always like all the lines in Bad Bunny's music, she does agree with his philosophies.
But lately he has taken a stand on bringing to the forefront political issues and social issues that are affecting our island.
Most recently, Bad Bunny finished up a historic Puerto Rico residency, bringing in tourism to his homeland. It also kept his fans elsewhere safe. Bad Bunny recently decided to skip the U.S. on his world tour because of ICE raids.
It's true that a tour throughout the U.S. probably would have had a lot of migrant folks easily targeted at his concerts. It's not so true that the Super Bowl is a place ICE wants to target.
But Bad Bunny and all Puerto Ricans are American citizens, despite sometimes feeling like foreigners. Paredes says having a Puerto Rican on this stage is a big step.
It needs to happen that we have a Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, that he doesn't translate himself, that he's a household name, that he's the most streamed artist globally. And that is actually the cultural groundwork for when my kids get to call a Latina the first president of the United States.
Levi's Stadium hosting Super Bowl 60 on February 8th. Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, a community effort to bring mail back to this North Bay town, how they rallied to save their post office with a little bit of public shaming.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. Watch anywhere, anytime. Stay informed and connected. Trusted local news when you want it. CBS News Bay Area. Watch free on any device. You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Ann Makovic, and here's a look at some of our news headlines today. It is looking more and more likely that our government is headed for a shutdown tonight. Congressional leaders and President Trump failed to reach a deal after meeting at the White House yesterday. A shutdown could lead to more mass layoffs and furloughs of federal workers. Some essential services would continue, like Social Security benefits and mail delivery, but national parks and museums would close. If you are thinking of buying an electric car, today is the last day to cash in on that federal tax credit. The $7,500 rebate expires at midnight. Former President Biden passed the incentive under the Inflation Reduction Act, but President Trump's tax and spending bill is putting that to an end. Nasty crash on 880 near Union City this morning. Our chopper captured the aftermath. A car and a big rig collided near Alvarado Niles Road just before 7 a.m. And you can see the extent of damage there to the vehicles and the freeway wall. No word yet on injuries. All right, let's get another check on our first alert forecast now with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's another cool, cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area with on and off showers in the forecast into the evening hours today. At the same time, this cold front sweeps in from the north to the south, and it's going to be bringing in some cool, cloudy conditions and rainy skies at times as well. Daytime highs sitting below average in the 60s today in Fremont, 70s off into the East Bay near Concord. I mean, that puts us about 10 degrees below average today in Concord, about 2 degrees below average in places like the foothills near Morgan Hill and Los Gatos. I want to show you the rain, though. As we head into the afternoon hours today, we're for the most part catching a little bit of a break. Misty conditions on and off, but the bulk of these showers, the next cold front that sweeps through, comes in later tonight, early tomorrow morning. And at the same time, it wrings out most of its moisture over the North Bay. So our rainfall totals are going to be impressive in certain microclimates. We'll catch a break in others. Watch what happens as we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow. More rain sweeping in, this time from the south coast, places closer to Half Moon Bay, all the way over into Pacifica for that matter, gearing up for some heavy showers into the afternoon hours on Wednesday before we clear up into Thursday and Friday right around the corner. So from now until Thursday, we can see close to around 1/4 of an inch of rain in places like Mountain View and Fremont, all the way over into San Francisco as well. We're not done with this rain just yet, so keep the umbrella nearby. You're going to want it into the afternoon hours today and into the afternoon hours tomorrow. By Thursday, it looks a lot different, though. So let's take a quick look at what we can expect from now into Thursday, because daytime highs are still below average as we head into the rest of this week. We'll slowly start to warm up as we head into Friday and Saturday, back into the 80s with sunnier skies as we dive into this weekend, and a nice break from the rain, too. But hey, the rain has been well welcomed. As we head into the afternoon hours today, you're going to want to hold on tight to that umbrella, even along the bay. We'll have more on those rainfall totals coming up in just a bit. For now, back to you.
A source telling CBS News that Hamas is leading toward accepting President Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza. That plan includes a 20-point proposal. If agreed to, it would see an immediate ceasefire, the release of the remaining hostages, and Gaza being governed by Palestinians, but not Hamas. It would also create a board of peace led by President Trump. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has backed the plan. Trump has given Hamas a deadline of 3 to 4 days to accept that deal. In Texas, a second detainee has died after a shooting at a Dallas ICE facility. 32-year-old Miguel Angel Garcia Hernandez was shot at least 8 times during the attack last Wednesday. A Homeland Security official says he died after being removed from life support. According to the League of United Latin American Citizens, he was a father of 4 with 1 more on the way. He is the second detainee to die after the shooting. Homeland Security says a 3rd person has been released from the hospital. YouTube settling a lawsuit with President Trump over the suspension of his account following the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. YouTube had suspended the president's account, saying his posts about the riot risked inciting further violence. The president sued, and now YouTube has agreed to pay $24.5 million. According to court documents, $22 million will be contributed to the Trust for the National Mall, which is helping construction efforts for the White House's new ballroom. A representative for Alphabet did not comment on the settlement. It does not include any admission of liability. A lot of celebration over something that most of us take for granted every day. The small Marin County community of Bolinas is once again having the mail delivered to their town. As John Ramos reports, it is thanks to one man's persistence and a little bit of public shaming.
In an age of electronic communications, it's easy to downplay the importance of something like a local post office. But the town of Bolinas has been without theirs for 2.5 years. And anyone who saw this day will never take it for granted again. On February 4th, 2023, the Bolinas post office that had operated here for 60 years shut down over a lease dispute with the property owner, planning never to return. After that, residents had to make a 40-minute round-trip trek to another town to pick up their mail.
We're a small town, we have no mayor, we have no city attorney. We're just like regular people trying to figure this out.
John Borg decided he wasn't going to just accept it. He organized a letter-writing campaign and erected a sign at the entrance to town every day updating the number of days without a post office. It grew and grew and grew. And on Sunday, Borg posted the latest tally. 948 days.
I think the sign was something to kind of keep the community engaged and let them know, hey, we haven't given up on this. We're still holding them accountable. We're still watching it, and we're still working on this.
But on this day, everything changed. Bolinas got its post office back. After more than 2.5 years of lobbying and negotiating, the residents began arriving at the exact same building to get the keys to their brand new post office boxes. And it was amazing to see how thrilled people could get just picking up their mail.
Oh my gosh, I've got mail. Oh my gosh, I've got 2 keys. I've got mail in my own box in my Bolinas post office, and I can't even tell you how excited I am. This is a great day. We were beginning to lose hope, but we are very, very happy.
Does it feel like a win for the people?
It does. It definitely feels like a win.
Yeah.
It does. And we have few enough wins these days, so we got to savor every one.
And to his neighbors, Borg has become something of a local hero.
Yeah, John has the patience of Job and the wisdom of Solomon, is what I would say.
Of course, he credits the entire town for never giving up the fight.
After year and a half, 2 years, there's no way it's going to come back. There's no way it's going to happen. But we just kept plugging away. I mean, we thought maybe, it might be 100 days, 200 days, 300 days. It just went on and on. Fortunately, we did need to get another digit. We were moving pretty close onto 1,000.
A dispute with the landlord was able to do what snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night couldn't. But now the post office is back in Bolinas. And instead of numbers, the sign outside of town has only exclamation marks.
Well, the residents also give credit to Congressman Jared Huffman for taking the fight to Washington. They are so excited about getting their post office back that they're planning to shut their Main Street down for a blowout party on Sunday, October 19th. It is the end of an era for AOL. It's hanging up its dial-up internet service associated with Associated Software today after 35 years. You remember that sound? Well, if you're old enough. Yahoo, which owns AOL, said it is discontinuing the service as it, quote, innovates to meet the needs of today's digital landscape. The change will not impact free AOL email accounts or other services, the spokesperson said. About 163,000 households had dial-up as of 2023, according to the U.S. Census Bureau data. A new college semester is now well underway, but it's not just grades that some students are concerned about. A study released by UCLA shows that 28% of college students in California are skipping meals because they can't afford them. But the West Valley Mission Community College District is stepping up to make sure every student eats. Kevin Coe has details on the nation's first universal meal program.
West Valley College student Leilani Hernandez knows how it feels to window shop at her cafeteria.
Obviously, the embarrassment comes in because you aren't able to get your own meal. And I think coming from a low-income family, you can't ask your parents for $30. They just don't have that. My eyes would always hurt so much, and I would just closing them for just a second. I would be like, I need to eat, and I haven't eaten. And it's like, what am I gonna eat?
Skipping meals is common for students like Leilani, who spend most of their finances on things like transportation and textbooks.
I don't want students to be choosing between food and textbooks.
Chancellor Bradley J. Davis has led the district since 2008.
We did a study of about 2,000 students, and the number one thing that came back as a result of that was that our students were struggling with food instability. It's difficult to focus and concentrate on your goals when you're hungry. So I think that's the first and most basic component of the plan. Two, I'd like to show that where there's a will, there's a way.
The way it works is through each student's ID card. $30 is added into every student meal plan each week, which can be used at campus cafeterias and cafes. In the first 3 weeks of the program, there have been more than 30,000 free meals served.
We are proving that this is very important. We are combating food insecurity. We're serving more students.
Sophia Cuevas is part of West Valley College's student government, where she says almost all student concerns are linked to food insecurity. She and her peers hope other community colleges also adopt similar programs, as they believe being fed at school is a basic human right.
Despite how necessary it is to have food, it's a matter of how important it is to the leaders at that academic institution to make it happen for students.
For now, it's of utmost importance at 2 community colleges in Silicon Valley, where other free programs like food banks already exist. The new meal program is an extension of this campus's belief that good grades don't just come from the classroom.
Getting those resources and getting the free food is not something to be ashamed of or anything. It's amazing that now our college has been able to create a solution where students don't need to feel singled out because they need extra food.
Well, the Universal Meal Program is available at West Valley College in Saratoga and Mission College in Santa Clara. Chancellor Davis hopes that other community colleges will also take it up. Coming up next here on CBS News Bay Area, they are helping to preserve an ancient language from thousands of years in the past. How students in the East Bay helped author an award-winning history book.
All these Guatemalan students came up to me and said, "I'm Mayan, I speak Mam." And I said, "What is Mam?"
Well, it's another cool, cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area with more on and off showers in the forecast into the evening hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow. At the same time, as these storm systems move in from the north to the south, it's actually just a cold front. So that's the reason why we're gearing up for daytime highs below average once again. Low 70s today and tomorrow before we jump into the 80s in our inland spots by this weekend. At the same time, we're holding on tight to those low 70s in places like the Bay, Oakland, San Francisco. Day by day, we're dealing with cloudy skies in the morning, clearing up into the afternoons each day.
As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, we are highlighting an Oakland high school student who's helping keep an ancient Mayan language and culture alive. Students in Javier Armas's class understood the Mayan mom language, and as Kara St. Cyr reports, they helped him write a book on it.
Lorena Mendoza grew up speaking a language few can understand.
It has something to do like with the mom history. My parents started talking to me since I was little, and then like certain words, I got caught up to those words and I understood.
Lorena speaks Mayan Mom, an ancient Mayan language originating in western Guatemala. Experts estimate it's more than 2,400 years old.
But I don't think they get enough recognition.
But the number of people who can speak it is dwindling, making Lorena a rarity, or so she thought.
Interestingly enough, we have a big project on Mayan mathematics, and he's of Mayan mom background.
Javier Armas, Lorena's high school Chicano studies teacher, took an interest in the mom language.
I was teaching Mayan mathematics at Skyline High School. All these Guatemalan students came up to me and said, "I'm Mayan, I speak Mam." And I said, "What is Mam?"
That question prompted research, and he enlisted students like Lorena to contribute.
Oakland has a humongous Mayan mom community. And so I asked my students, I was like, "Do you guys want to learn the history of your mom culture?"
The result was a 161-page book
published at Skyline High School
called Mom History, written by Javier and his students. The book sold hundreds of copies on its first day, but the sales meant nothing to Javier.
And I think we can learn a lot as a culture and as a society by excavating and researching these other systems that exist alongside with American and European cultures.
For Lorena, it was personal.
My dad was the one who helped me too, because he honestly felt proud of me just because he said that it's an accomplishment, and because it has to do with something where he's from, and because he's also never like seen like some like students create like a book towards like their history.
This book is just one chapter in the story of Lorena's heritage, but a notable one she can share with the world.
And you can check out our half-hour special, Una Familia, airing on October 16th at 7:30 with Gianna Franco and Len Ramirez. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, the world of Japanese illustration coming to life in San Francisco. We're going to take you inside the first of its kind exhibit on an international phenomenon.
It just felt like you were immersed in actually walking through a manga, like the actual pages.
You take a look at our daytime highs here, 69 degrees in Napa, 70 into San Francisco. Our North Bay inland spots are cooler than places like San Francisco when it comes to those average versus below average conditions. Santa Rosa, 11 degrees below average today. San Francisco, pretty much right where we should be, just a degree below where we should be this afternoon, sitting in the 70s. We warm all the way up into the mid 70s today in Redwood City, putting us a degree above average there. But as I turn on that radar and just the futurecast one more time, actually, you'll see these misty conditions will kind of pop up in all of our microclimates before the bulk of it sweeps through into the overnight hours tonight, early morning hours tomorrow. So let's start off with where we're at right now, because you saw that live look down in San Jose, clear as can be. That's not necessarily the case everywhere throughout the Bay, though. You take a look at the Richmond Bridge all the way up into Napa and Vallejo. Light showers are still kind of trickling throughout the Bay right now. Very light in the grand scheme of things, because it actually will kick up more as we head into the evening hours tonight. You see just off to the side of your screen that cold front pushing its way from the north to the south. This is going to bring us close to around a quarter of an inch of rain in certain pockets of the Bay Area from now into Thursday's forecast. Wednesday, getting heavier showers, expecting heavier showers pushing in from offshore as we head into our afternoon forecast tomorrow. That's before we clear up into Thursday. So from now until Thursday, we can see close to around a quarter of an inch of rain in the South Bay, about a tenth of an inch all the way up into the North Bay. Back to you.
A new art exhibition at the De Young Museum in San Francisco is celebrating a Japanese art form, the art of manga, giving visitors an in-depth look at how Japanese artists have created some of the world's most popular series. Lorene Ayub takes us inside.
Vibrant and familiar characters are on full display at the De Young Museum. The new Art of Manga exhibit is diving deep into Japanese graphic storytelling. Featured artist Mari Yamazaki blends history and heart in her work, shaped in part by her grandfather's ties to San Francisco.
It's my personal story that my grandfather lived here in San Francisco from 1915 to 1928. So he always talked about me happy life he got in San Francisco at the time.
Yamazaki's work draws from both the past and the present, offering a reflection on time, culture, and the human condition.
I'd like to say that human beings always repeat the same things, always think about the same things.
Visitors like Matthew Jin step into what feels like a living comic book, the very foundations of anime as we know it today.
Just walking through the Art of Manga exhibit in the De Young, it just felt like you were immersed in actually walking through a manga, like the actual pages, because there's architecture that seems like it's actually made out of paper and like animations.
The exhibit, the first of its kind on the West Coast, showcases manga's global impact. And Yamazaki says it's meaningful to have her work on display in such a creative city.
I think that it's thanks for the San Francisco that make me to become manga artist.
For Yamazaki, manga is more than ink on paper. It's a bridge between cultures and generations.
The exhibit runs through January. It costs $35 for adults, and tickets are available on the De Young website. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Mayan. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top stories.